Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Tuesday, the 26th of October, comes to you from London. And we start just looking at the energy mix. More green on the screen this morning in Europe, it's just holding, waiting for the break, really. So we start by looking at the macro, just looking at what's going on in the major markets. The dollar had a big jump yesterday, so that's put us back into short-term bullish territory. That is the prevailing medium-term trend. The long-term still has a bit of work to do, but it looks like we're seeing a resurgence in the medium to long term in the dollar. And so that has implications for a lot of other things, of course. So this is the weekly, daily, and 60-minute. If we're above the cloud, we're bullish. If we're below, we're bearish, and the corresponding point and figure charts. So that means the euro is, of course, weaker against that stronger dollar. We saw that fall away yesterday, so it's bearish on those time frames. Holding 114 yen to the dollar on the Japanese yen, so looking quite strong still there. And if we look at sterling, we're weaker against that stronger dollar. But where we are seeing some resurgence is sterling against the euro, sitting at 118.60 now, breaking very clearly to that 18-month high. So sterling has the upper hand against that weaker euro. The Aussie dollar is one case where we're seeing sterling weaker, and that's quite an interesting chart, just seeing that there with downside targets in multiple directions. So Aussie dollar strength quite key there. But Bitcoin sitting fairly steady at $62,000, so not a big change there. And the S&P 500 index was up 0.5% yesterday. Very strong results out from Facebook, Tesla announcements. So we're seeing tech driving the market quite solidly. So we see the S&P driving to new highs, and the Nasdaq also not making new highs yet, but pushing higher all the same. And the futures today looking like the S&P will open up, but the Nasdaq looking much stronger, up 0.2%. So strong open for the Nasdaq today, and that means the VIX volatility, the fear index, is falling and is still negative at around 15. That's now getting us back to the sort of historic low levels that we saw pre the pandemic crisis. Also, European stocks cheering that US news, and we're seeing the FTSE future up 0.4%, the DAX in Germany up 0.8%, and it's starting to get us back into positive territory on the medium term there and breaking higher with good upside targets, so looking pretty good there. The CAC Quarante up 0.5%. Japan up 1.2%, so a strong showing there. The Hang Seng and China were down slightly, and the Sensex was up slightly. Aussie market little changed. We'll look at the energy mix in a minute, and if we look at some of the soft commodities, just a little bit weaker on that stronger dollar, but wheat still looking very set for a breakout with multiple upside targets there. Gold just hanging on to the $1,800 mark, so we are just seeing that looking a little bit better, crossing the cloud for the first time on the medium-term chart. So looking a little bit better there. US 10-year yield sitting steady at 1.64%, and the German bond price, the Bund future, starting to look worrying. This is the lower high, the lower low, and if we take out that sort of 167.50 level, which we're not far from now, just €1 away, we take that level out, and that would be pretty bad for the price. It looks like we're finding a little bit of support a couple of days ago there, but this is a chart to watch. Taking a look at the energy mix now, we've got Brent Crude down this morning, but still looking very strong on the chart, and we've got good upside targets, so we're favouring the upside there. US nat gas, we were bullish yesterday to clients at around 550. We jumped to 605 this morning. We see that move yesterday. We identified that in the morning, and that's what we did in the afternoon. Looking at coal, we are up 1.6% this morning, but as we highlighted yesterday, the lower low is a bit of a concern on coal. We have had that relief rally to those levels, 126, 128, but we've got the 105 target still hanging over us. And emissions just struggling again this morning. We've really been in the doldrums, and on the short-term chart, we're just struggling to break higher. We were neutral emissions. It's become very much a trading market if we look at emissions, and in fact, we've been doing quite a lot of tests back tests on emissions for clients, and we're seeing here how some of these back tests are producing really great results. So emissions was a one-way bet the first half of the year, and then we ran into turbulence, and that's where the trading systems really start to come into their own. This was a buy and hold market. Now it's a trader's market, and that's really an interesting thing. And we're putting out our top 20 systems to clients this week. So emissions at the moment, we've got targets in either direction. Of course, if you've got a trading system that works, you don't really care too much which way it goes, as long as the trading system works for you. The MBP price is up 1.9% this morning, still in the doldrums and still very much below the cloud on the 60-minute chart, and we've got downside pressure here, so that's certainly one to watch. A new low, of course, would be bad. And if we look at TTF Dutch gas, we are just nudging the 90 euro mark, but again, a move below 80 would be bad, and we've got targets in both directions, but not yet below that 80 level. German power is up 1.6% this morning. Again, just waiting for the break. We've got two upside targets. Check these 1 minute charts on your OTC data. 134, 132, downside 111, 114. So it's quite key there. And if we look at some of the other power markets, so we look here at Italian power and the EX. This data coming from Montel, this data coming from Icon, of course, and Updata. It doesn't really matter where the data is coming from. And we've got targets in both directions here on the 1 minute charts on Italian power. And again, your OTC data would be very useful for getting these targets. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.